p.m. PCSO, Pinal County Sheriff's Office Sergeant, initiated a traffic stop on Gansel and Pecan Creek area. The driver immediately refused to pull over and began committing felony flight, prompting a pursuit. During the chase, the suspect intentionally collided with our sergeant's vehicle, committing aggravated assault just north of Combs Road. During the 6-minute pursuit, the suspect drove recklessly down a main thoroughfare near a shopping plaza and neighborhoods, endangering the public. The suspect vehicle ultimately ended up in a ditch near Gansel Road and East Combs Road, where a deputy-involved shooting occurred. The female driver produced a handgun from inside the vehicle. It was on the dashboard, and it fired at deputies who were positioned behind their patrol vehicles, giving themselves cover and concealment. At least one round was confirmed to have been fired by the suspect, striking the window of a patrol vehicle just inches from the deputy's head. The sergeant and 2 deputies returned fire, striking the suspect. Medical personnel were later pronounced the woman deceased at the scene. The male passenger of the vehicle was detained and transported to a Valley hospital with minor injuries. One deputy sustained injuries from the glass fragments during the exchange of gunfire and was also transported to a Valley hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He's since been released. The suspect's next of kin has now been notified, so they all are aware. So we're identifying the suspect as 46-year-old Melissa Mills from Apache Junction. I'd like to point out that Melissa has a history of unlawful flight from law enforcement. She was arrested in 2024 for unlawful flight. She was also arrested for possession of dangerous drugs at that time and possession of drug paraphernalia back in 2024. The male passenger was arrested for a warrant for unrelated charges and booked into the Maricopa County Detention Center. Per standard procedure, the involved deputies, the sergeant and the 2 other deputies involved in the scene, are being placed on administrative leave so they can have time to decompress over the situation. It's stressful to everyone involved. This investigation remains active, and additional information will be released when available. That's all we have for the press briefing right now. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to take them.
Sheriff, can you kind of describe what's on that picture behind you?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So this is the final resting place of the suspect vehicle. It started to drive off the road and ended up resting here. Deputy gets out of his car and is standing here. Confirms that there's a firearm on the dash of the vehicle. Sees the suspect reach in, grab the firearm, and then turn towards the deputy and shoot this round that went through the driver's side window. And actually, this bullet ended up striking the C-pillar on the truck. The deputy was here, returned fire. Sergeant was here, returned fire, and she's now deceased.
What was the original traffic stop for? Do you know?
You know, in situations like these, I just like to point out people that in the last 24 hours, we've conducted more than 100 traffic stops. This is the only one we're talking about because this is the one where the driver refused to comply with the traffic stop.
Can you speak to the dangers that a chase like this and an incident like this presents to the public? I mean, people that were probably traveling along those roads.
Yes, ma'am. It's a Thursday night, guys. Parents are, the weather was beautiful. This is a residential neighborhood where speed limit is 25 miles per hour. I think we can all agree that in a parking lot of a grocery store, the speed limit should be even less than 25 miles per hour. There's parents shopping with their kids. And so this driver had absolutely no regard whatsoever for the public safety.
After fleeing the traffic stop, it said that the driver, she committed aggravated assault with her vehicle. Can you explain what that was?
She purposely collided with the vehicle. These pursuits are fluid situations where you're turning corners. They're not like in the movies where it's just on a straight road down an interstate, and they're driving through different intersections. They're making corners. At one point, her vehicle got almost sideways with my deputy's vehicle, and she purposely drove into the vehicle and struck it.
What goes into the decision of doing a pursuit like this in the last 6 minutes on a busy street, on a busy night versus, maybe calling off, trying to take the license plate, follow back up? What kind of decisions typically go into something like that?
The decision is this is Arizona and this is Pinal County, and if you commit a criminal offense here, we're going to take action.
Did the deputy know who the driver was after running the plate, or was this somebody that, did some sort of traffic violation, pulled over, or was this someone this deputy knew has a history of something like this? The passenger, people she was associated. The
driver does have a history of this, driving on a suspended license, fleeing from law enforcement, yes.
And that deputy knew that as the pursuit was going on?
The deputy's decompressing right now, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of any statements that he gave other than the public safety statements that he gave.
And you talk about the bullet just being inches. I mean, just how close was it to the deputy, to the sergeant? And, just it seemed like this could have been a much worse situation than
It could have been a lot worse. And you bring up a really good point. Glass from this bullet, the glass that this bullet caused went into my deputy's eye. It struck him in the face. That's the fragments that he received was from this bullet that was shot at him. So it was within inches of taking the deputy's life.
How does that side do? Glass actually go into that?
Yes, it did, and it was washed out. Luckily, there was just superficial wounds, a couple minor cuts. So very fortunate with that situation. Yes, sir.
You said he went around the side, saw the gun on the dashboard. Did she come out guns blazing, or did she fire out the window, or how did that whole thing happen?
She originally started to exit the vehicle, stared at the deputy, stared at the sergeant, then reached back into the vehicle and retrieved the handgun from the dash of the vehicle, and then turned and pointed towards Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
So you guys were ready, but you only got one shot off?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
And she was not supposed to have a firearm, just with her previous history, I'm assuming.
I don't know if she's a convicted felon. She would have to be a convicted felon to be a prohibited possessor and not have her rights restored. So I do not have her complete prior criminal justice involvement yet. That's something that our homicide detectives are working on.
What kind of charges could the passenger face in light of this incident?
This is an ongoing situation. I will tell you that we are currently drafting a search warrant to get into the vehicle to find out more. The vehicle was taken as evidence, but until the search warrant is drafted, he was booked on a warrant for his arrest that was completely unrelated to this situation. He may face charges, but that's still an ongoing investigation.
Her last name was Mills?
Yes, sir.
M-I-L-L-S?
Yes, M-I-L-S, Melissa Mills, 46 years old.
Suicide by cop?
I never call it suicide by cop. I call it attempted aggravated assault to a police officer and attempted murder on a police officer.
Do you know the relationship between Mills and this man, and what was that warrant he was booked for?
The warrant was for a DPS, criminal traffic violation, and as of now, we find no relation to this pursuit and this incident. It's just an unrelated warrant for his arrest.
Are they friends? Are they related? Do you know any connection between, why they were in the car together at that point?
No, we do not yet. No.
Just for clarification, the sergeant who initially tried to pull the person over is not the person who shot the gun, correct?
The sergeant was one of the 3 deputies that fired on that. The sergeant was not the deputy that received the injuries, but he was there on scene and didn't return fire.
How long has the deputy who was hurt been with you guys?
That's a good question. May's been with us a couple years now. Yes, sir. All right. Nothing else, guys? I really appreciate you guys coming in, and thank you for getting the information out there. Appreciate it. And we'll give you more information as we have it. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Do you have a booking number or name for the man?
Get with,
Yeah, we can follow up on that. It was in Maricopa County, so we don't have access to their system.
Okay.
yeah, I tried to pull it up before we come out here, but completely different systems.
Okay.
It's sad in 2025. It should be like the movies where we can just look up anybody and research anybody else's CAD system.